What if the difference between a life of meaning and a life adrift is simply knowing why you're here? You, the chosen ones, aren't here by accident. You've been pulled to this message because you're ready to understand its weight and put it into action. This isn't for those who shy away from hard truths or settle for an ordinary routine. It's for people like you, who feel there's a bigger purpose calling. Your journey won't be a walk in the park. It's packed with real challenges that test your grit and determination. These hurdles aren't meaningless. They're shaping you for a role greater than you might expect. To make it, you'll need to dodge specific missteps, practical traps that can derail your progress and sap your drive. Stay with me until the end, because what's coming next could shift your path entirely and arm you for what lies ahead. Let's tackle the first critical mistake to avoid, because nailing this sets the stage for everything else. Forbidden action. 1. Turning away from your soul's whisper. The first forbidden action you must steer clear of is turning away from your soul's whisper, a gift that sets you apart as someone destined for a greater calling. This isn't a loud announcement or a clear-cut instruction. It's a subtle, steady signal that reaches you through a hunch, a fleeting dream, or a shiver of recognition when something feels true. You might notice it as that instinctive pull toward a decision or a sudden unease that stops you in your tracks. Far beyond a simple gut instinct, this is your deepest self reaching out, aligned with the universe's flow, pointing you toward the life you're meant to live. Turning away from this whisper isn't just a slip-up. It's a costly error that risks unraveling everything you're here to become. Why? Because it's not a coincidence or a whim. It's your built-in guide, aware of your potential and the road you need to travel to claim it. Yet it's so easy to let this signal fade into the background. Life throws a storm of interruptions your way. Endless to-do lists, social media chatter, or the weight of others' expectations. In that rush, hesitation can take root. Maybe you worry your instincts are off base, or you let louder voices, bosses, peers, even your own inner critic, talk you out of what feels right. When you do this, you're not just brushing off a passing thought. You're stepping off the track that leads to your purpose. Imagine your soul's whisper as a lantern glowing faintly in a fog-choked night. It's your way forward when everything else blurs, your anchor when the world spins out of control. If you turn away, you're choosing to stumble in the dark, cut off from the clarity meant to keep you steady and safe. This isn't a small misjudgment. It's like tossing aside the one tool designed to help you find your way. Why do so many of us, especially those marked for something extraordinary, find this so hard? It's straightforward. The outside world shouts, while your soul speaks softly. We're surrounded by a system that prizes hard evidence, data, plans, opinions you can justify to a crowd. If your whisper says to chase a dream with no guarantees or step back from a sure thing everyone else cheers for, it can feel illogical, even reckless. But here's what's real. The universe doesn't always play by those rules. That nudge to pivot when others push forward, or to wait when everyone rushes, might be the key to unlocking a door you didn't even know existed. The task is to lean in, to have faith in that gentle pull, even when it defies the crowd, even when it asks you to take a leap into the unfamiliar. Your soul sees the map your eyes can't trace, stretching out toward horizons your logic alone can't reach. Picture a time you tuned out that whisper. Perhaps you stuck with a project that drained you, even though a quiet unease begged you to let go. Or maybe you said yes to a commitment, a trip, a favor, when every fiber of you screamed no, but you ignored it, swayed by guilt or someone's insistence. What followed? Likely a tangle of stress, a missed chance, or a nagging, "I knew it," when things went sideways. That's the cost of turning away. You open the door to messiness and misalignment. You veer from the rhythm set for you, and life feels heavier than it should. Keep doing it, and that whisper grows fainter, Like a radio signal losing range, the universe tunes in to those who tune in. If you keep pushing it aside, that line goes static, leaving you adrift, more prone to second-guessing, worry, or forces that tug you off course. For someone like you, chosen for a reason, that's a price too steep to pay. This whisper isn't just a pointer, it's your guardrail. It flags the relationships that sap your spirit, the choices that don't fit your truth, and the moments ripe for your next step. When you trust it, you're not guessing. You're sinking with the current carrying you forward. That's your real power source. So how do you stay plugged in? First, slow down. The daily grind drowns out what's subtle, but your soul thrives in calm. Try this. Set aside 10 minutes to sit with no agenda. Maybe at dawn with a cup of tea, or under a tree with the breeze. Let your thoughts settle and see what surfaces. Tools like deep breathing or a quick scribble in a notebook can clear the static too. Then, tune into your signals. Your soul doesn't always use words. It might show up as a knot in your stomach when a yes should be no, or a spark of energy when an idea hits home. Test it. Next time you're unsure, check how your body reacts. Tense or relaxed, heavy or light. That's your whisper talking. And here's the clincher. Act on it. Trust isn't enough without follow-through. If it says reach out, pick up the phone. If it says rest, close the laptop. Start with low-stakes moves, like skipping a draining hangout, and watch how it feels to honor that nudge. Each action sharpens the signal, building your confidence in it. For those picked to rise higher, turning away from your soul's whisper is the first trap to dodge. It's the root of staying true, and everything ahead, guarding your energy, sidestepping distractions, leans on this. It's your lifeline. Don't let it slip. Hear it out, move with it, and know the road it lights is yours to own. Forbidden Action 2. Entertaining negative energies or toxic people. If the first forbidden action taught you to listen to your inner voice as a compass guiding your path, now it's time to learn how to shield the inner flame that voice directs. A sacred energy you, as a chosen one, carry within. This energy is a precious asset, yet it's vulnerable to the cold winds of negativity and toxic individuals. Left unchecked, these forces can cloud your connection to the higher purpose the universe has entrusted to you. Engaging with low vibrations, or allowing harmful influences to seep into your life ranks, among the gravest threats to your spiritual journey. This is the second forbidden action. A real danger you must actively sidestep to maintain your inner balance and strength. Negative energy isn't some vague idea. It takes shape through tangible elements in your daily life. It might be harsh words cutting through a conversation, stifling spaces that leave you breathless, or self-critical thoughts creeping in during tough moments. With the unique sensitivity you possess, tied to the inner voice we explored earlier, you're like an antenna, picking up every vibration around you, from warm positivity to chilling darkness. This gift lets you discern what aligns with your path, but without care, it also leaves you exposed. Picture your energy as a garden. If you let weeds spread unchecked, they'll eventually choke the life out of it. You might tell yourself you're tough enough to endure, but negative energy doesn't strike head-on. It builds quietly, unsettling your peace and scattering the focus you need to move forward. Toxic people are some of the most perilous cold winds you must watch for. They're the ones who leave you feeling uneasy. Perhaps a coworker constantly vying for dominance and sowing doubt, or an acquaintance who endlessly unloads pessimistic tales without seeking change. They don't always mean harm, but their presence casts a shadow, blocking your view of your goals. They might be childhood friends, family members, or fleeting connections. Emotional ties or societal norms might make you hesitate, fearing you'll seem callous if you pull away. But here's the truth. Your path isn't about pleasing everyone. To safeguard your energy garden, you need to master the art of saying no. Ask yourself honestly, does this relationship make me feel stronger? Do they respect and support my dreams? If the answer leans toward no, step back boldly. Not to sever ties completely, but to carve out a safe distance for your soul. Beyond people, your surroundings can also sap your energy if you're not mindful. A cluttered room heavy with sad memories, an office buzzing with constant arguments, or a noisy street steeped in chaos. These places carry vibrations that weigh you down, as if an invisible load presses on your shoulders. Your body will sound the alarm, a racing pulse in an uneasy space, a sluggish haze after a draining encounter, or an odd emptiness after lingering too long somewhere unfit. Don't dismiss these signals. They're your inner voice urging a shift. To keep your energy vibrant, try practical steps. Take a few minutes to breathe deeply in a quiet spot. Refresh your space with peppermint oil, or wear an obsidian bracelet as an unseen shield against harsh vibes. These small acts dispel heaviness and restore mental clarity. As a chosen one, you radiate a natural pull, a light not everyone understands or values. Some will draw near, craving its warmth to fill their own void, while others might bristle, unable to handle your brilliance. So, stay sharp. Be selective about what you let into your world, the conversations you join, the places you step into, even the thoughts you entertain. When your energy feels off-kilter, seek out spaces that renew you. An afternoon by a river, listening to water flow, or a quiet moment beneath a tree can work wonders. They soothe you and reconnect you to the inner strength you're gifted to carry out your mission. This forbidden action ties back to the first lesson. Your sensitivity to the energies around you is part of your inner voice. By learning to guard against negative influences, you strengthen your ability to hear and trust your intuition. Keeping your energy garden thriving and clear builds a firm foundation for the challenges ahead on the chosen one's path. Cherish this gift. Protecting it means protecting the mission you were born to fulfill. Forbidden action. 3. Falling into materialism and worldly desires. Having explored how to shield our energy from negative influences in the previous section, we now turn to a fresh challenge on this spiritual journey. Forbidden action. 3. Falling into materialism and worldly desires. The world around us constantly beckons with promises of happiness through money, luxury items, fame, or power. Yet, as a chosen one, you must see beyond this dazzling facade. These things are mere fleeting shadows, lacking permanence, and if you let them dominate your mind, you'll lose sight of the path to your greater mission. Let me emphasize this. Owning possessions or enjoying life isn't something to condemn. You might work hard to buy a new laptop for your job or save up for a family vacation. Those are natural, valid choices. The danger arises when you start believing these things define your security or worth. For instance, if you convince yourself that a designer pair of shoes will earn you respect, or a luxurious apartment proves your success, you've stepped into the trap of materialism. Society relentlessly promotes the idea that the more you accumulate, the more you matter in others' eyes. But the harsh reality is this: everything can vanish. A flood could sweep away your home. A bad business move could drain your savings, or a single social media critique could shatter the reputation you've built over years. If you base your identity on such shaky ground, you'll collapse when it gives way, a risk your mission cannot afford. The universe didn't choose you to join the race for wealth or chase superficial temptations. Your role is to aim for a broader horizon, to connect with the profound purpose of your soul and answer a sacred calling uniquely yours. Picture yourself as a ship sailing across a vast ocean. Your goal is to reach your destined island, a place where you unlock your full potential and leave a mark on the world. But if you keep piling your vessel with heavy cargo, representing an obsession with money or status, it will wobble and might even sink before you arrive. Clinging to material things traps you in mundane vibrations, blocking your ascent to the spiritual heights you were born to reach. Look at those around you. Someone might own a mansion and a fancy car, yet lie awake at night, restless with an inner void. They can't find peace because they're searching in the wrong place. Material things are just a shell. True fulfillment lies in harmony with yourself and something greater. For you, a chosen one, real joy flows from living true to your path, spreading value to others, and heeding your soul's call over the world's clamor. When you get swept up in chasing material gains, your perspective narrows. Instead of considering how to support a struggling friend or carve out time for self-discovery, you fixate on acquiring the next gadget or maintaining an image for others. Gradually, you drift off course, forgetting what truly sets you apart. To navigate past this pitfall, here are 3 practical steps you can start today. First, learn to see material things as tools, not endpoints. Treat money and possessions as helpful companions, not the arbiters of your fate. For example, when you buy a new jacket, enjoy it, but don't let it define who you are. If it tears or gets lost one day, you'll stand tall because your worth lies within, in your kindness, creativity, or drive to transform the world. Next, cultivate a habit of contentment with the present. Each day, take a minute to list 3 things you feel fortunate for. Maybe a warm meal, a stranger's smile, or a chance to learn something new. When you see your life as already rich in its own way, you'll feel less pulled by unnecessary shopping sprees or the pressure to prove yourself through appearances. This contentment is like a breeze lifting your sails, propelling you forward without the weight of material burdens holding you back. Finally, prioritize your mission above all. Once a week, ask yourself, what do I want to be remembered for? What am I doing to get closer to that? If you sense you're here to inspire through art, spend time painting instead of chasing funds for more decorations. When you focus on your greater purpose, the reason you were chosen and the impact you're meant to have, trivial pursuits naturally lose their grip, making way for clarity and true meaning. By practicing these steps, you'll maintain freedom from the chains of materialism. You'll move forward with a clear mind and a light heart, ready for the next challenges on your path. This forbidden action isn't about rejecting everything you own. It's about refusing to let them control you. Let your inner light, the one we spoke of earlier, guide you, rather than letting the false glow of worldly things dim its brilliance. Forbidden Action 4. Letting ego take over. The 4th forbidden action that every chosen one must steer clear of is letting the ego take control of your thoughts and actions. The ego isn't just about arrogance or showing off. It's far more intricate than that. It's a distorted version of yourself that thrives on a sense of disconnection. Disconnection from the greater energy of life, from the people around you, and even from your authentic self. As a chosen one, your spiritual growth hinges on overcoming this sense of isolation and embracing the vast interconnectedness of existence. Yet the ego pulls you in the opposite direction. It constantly seeks attention, yearning to be noticed, admired, and valued through external accomplishments. Here's a truth you must hold close, dear chosen ones. The more you let the ego guide you, the further you drift from the noble mission the universe has entrusted to you. The ego builds an invisible barrier that keeps you from living your true purpose. It shifts your focus towards seeking approval from others rather than tuning into the deep wisdom within your heart. When the ego takes over, you start defining your worth by how others perceive you, by what you've achieved, the position you hold, or how much influence you wield over your circumstances and relationships. You might find yourself chasing power just to feel significant or craving recognition to bolster your image in others' eyes. This is a risky path, especially for those on a spiritual journey. Your calling as a chosen one isn't to overpower, compete, or set yourself above others. Instead, you're meant to support, inspire, and bring light to the world. But the ego will try to deceive you. It will plant thoughts that you deserve more than others, that you stand out above the rest, that your path is about proving your distinction. Be wary. These ideas are the ego's tricks to steer you off course. A spiritual thinker once shared, "The ego is a part of you. Use it, but don't let it rule you." This is a clear wake-up call for all chosen ones. The ego is an inevitable piece of being human. You can't erase it entirely, but you must keep it in check. If it takes the reins, you'll lose sight of why you're truly here and start acting out of insecurity, rivalry, and a sense of insufficiency. The key to handling it lies in self-observation. The ego often creeps in quietly, through unease when someone else shines brighter than you, through the habit of measuring yourself against others, or through a desire to have everything go your way. It loves putting you in a position of comparison, making you feel superior or inferior. But here's the reality. You are irreplaceable. Your path, the value you bring, and your role in life are one of a kind. You're part of a greater whole, just like everyone else. And that alone gives you confidence without needing to prove anything more. The ego also feeds on the habit of judging others. It enjoys pointing out their flaws to make you feel better about yourself. But take note, dear chosen ones, when you criticize someone, it mirrors what's unsettled within you. Judging comes from the instability and separation the ego fosters. Yet your true self recognizes that we're all linked, each on our own journey, with no need for rivalry or condemnation. So how do you keep the ego from overpowering you? Start by learning to spot it. Pay attention to moments when you want to boast, argue to defend your stance, or take charge of a situation. When that urge arises, pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, is this coming from my higher aspirations or from my ego speaking up? If it's the ego, choose a different approach. Act with sincerity, humility, and a desire to bring good to others. Another way to tame the ego is by cultivating gratitude. When you focus on what you have, a new day, the people who care for you, or the small opportunities life offers, you realize you don't need anyone out there to validate your worth. The ego thrives on a sense of lack, but gratitude shows you that you're already whole and reconnects you to the vast energy of existence. Always keep this in mind. Your strength doesn't come from the ego, it comes from your bond with the greater force within you. When you live with sincerity, love, and a spirit of contribution, the ego's influence fades. In that moment, you become a true conduit for a larger light, adding value not to elevate yourself, but to uplift those around you. Forbidden action. Misusing the power of words. Forbidden action. 5 brings us, dear chosen ones, to a truth we often overlook, the incredible weight of what we say. Just as we've learned to quiet the ego's clamor, choosing humility and love to channel the divine, our journey now asks us to wield our words with the same care and purpose. Your voice isn't merely a tool for talking, it's a living force, pulsing with energy that can mend hearts or fracture spirits. As someone attuned to a higher spiritual path, your speech carries a unique strength, amplified by the sacred frequency you're connected to. When you misuse this gift, letting loose with reckless, cutting, or hollow words, you risk unraveling the harmony you've built, casting shadows over the light you're destined to share. Your words are a mirror of your soul's condition. When you're grounded in peace and purpose, they flow like a gentle stream, nurturing everything they touch. But if you let bitterness, dishonesty, or haste take over, say, snapping at someone in a moment of stress, you send out a jagged current that disrupts your harmony, This disturbance doesn't just affect others. It circles back, clouding your own spirit and pulling you off your destined course. There's an old wisdom that says to let your speech be thoughtful, uplifting, and honest. For you, chosen ones, this isn't optional. It's essential. Your voice has the power to shape what's possible. Speak despair, like muttering, "Nothing ever works out for me during a tough week." And you anchor yourself to struggle. Instead, declare hope. "I'm finding my way through this." And you open doors to growth, aligning with the universe's boundless flow. Consider how easily this power slips away in everyday moments. Take casual chatter, for instance. You're at a gathering, and the conversation turns to someone's recent stumble, maybe a neighbor's argument or a friend's bad choice. It's tempting to pile on with a sly remark or a knowing nod. But this kind of talk is a subtle poison. It saps vitality from others while tangling you in a web of smallness and division. You're called to something higher, to use your voice as a beacon, not a blade. Or think about the quiet moments when you doubt yourself. How often do you whisper, "I'll never figure this out," or "I don't deserve better"? These aren't just passing thoughts. They're barriers you build, brick by brick, against your own potential. You're not here to shrink. You're here to expand, to claim your capacity for greatness. Try this instead. "I'm learning as I go," or "I'm worthy of my calling." These aren't empty phrases. They're seeds planted for a future that matches your divine design. The intention fueling your words matters just as much. Picture a heated moment. Someone cuts you off in traffic and you're fuming. Yelling, "What an idiot," might feel good for a second, but it unleashes a wave of tension that lingers, affecting your mood and even your day. That energy doesn't vanish. It rebounds, often leaving you more unsettled than before. You don't have to ignore your frustration. It's real and human. But you can guide it differently. Take a slow breath, let the heat settle, and say, to yourself or them, "I hope they're okay." It's not about weakness. It's about mastery over what you release into the world. In every situation, strive to speak from a place of clarity and compassion, even when it's hard. Your words are your legacy. Make them a testament to the divine light you carry. Forbidden Action 6. Fearing your own power. In the previous section, we explored the power of words, how they reflect your divine light and shape your reality. But your strength, dear chosen ones, goes beyond that. Forbidden Action 6 takes us deeper. You possess an extraordinary inner energy, not just through your words, but through your very presence in this world. It's a fire blazing within your soul, waiting to be unleashed through your actions and decisions. Yet, sadly, many of you hesitate to face it. The responsibility tied to this power can feel daunting, and that's the sixth forbidden action: fearing your own power. Picture yourself standing before a grand door, beyond which lies a path to the wonders you're destined to achieve. But instead of turning the handle, you pause, gripped by the worry that you might not be strong enough to cross the threshold. Perhaps you've thought, what if I fail? What if I can't live up to what's expected of me? These doubts push you to stay still, sidestepping big opportunities, like leading a project, sharing your ideas with a group, or even acknowledging your vital role in a moment. In doing so, you don't just limit yourself. You block the flow of sacred energy waiting to shine through you. This is a quiet surrender, not because you're weak, but because you haven't yet trusted the strength already within you. Why does this fear arise? Part of it stems from our minds craving safety. Embracing your power means stepping out of the familiar, where life feels simple and undemanding. Out there, you become noticeable, accountable for what you create, and sometimes face skepticism from others. This can make you feel exposed, as if you're on a brightly lit stage, unsure whether the audience will cheer or judge. But deeper still, fear often grows from a lack of confidence in your worth. You might tell yourself, "I'm not special enough for something this big," or "Others are far better than me." These thoughts are invisible barriers, making you forget that you were chosen not for perfection, but for the unique potential only you carry. Yet your power isn't just yours alone. It's a breeze lifting those around you. Think of a dedicated teacher in a classroom, not only sharing knowledge but sparking belief in their students. They don't hide their abilities, they use them to inspire. You're the same. Your light is a source of strength for those seeking direction. If you shrink back in fear, you leave them in the shadows, where they might wander without finding their way. This world is full of challenges, uncertainty, sorrow, and doubt. But you're here to be an anchor, showing that even in hardship, hope endures. So how do you overcome this hesitation and embrace your power? First, face your fear head-on. When you feel like pulling back, say, when you decline a leadership role because you think you're not ready, pause and ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What's the worst that could happen? Often you'll see that the fear isn't as big as it seems. It's just a magnified shadow of uncertainty, not the truth of your capability. Next, take small steps forward. You don't need to transform the world overnight. Start by saying yes to a new task, offering your thoughts in a meeting, or helping someone with your experience. Each small act is a brick in the foundation of your confidence, letting you feel your power more naturally. Above all, remember you're not alone on this journey. The universe gave you this power because it knows you can wield it meaningfully. Every time you choose to trust and move forward, you not only strengthen yourself but also pave the way for your light to spread. You were chosen for a clear reason, not to hide, but to rise and guide. Don't let fear stop you from becoming who you're meant to be. Take a deep breath, lift your head high, and let that power lead you, for yourself and for everyone waiting for your presence in their lives. Forbidden Action 7. Living in the past. Forbidden Action 7 that the chosen ones must avoid at all costs is living in the past, a habit that can extinguish the flame of strength you've just ignited by embracing your own power. Having courageously stepped beyond fear to claim the light within, as we discussed in the previous section about shining like a lighthouse amidst a storm, the last thing you should do is let your mind drift back to days gone by. As someone on a sacred spiritual journey, your strength is nurtured by what's happening right now. The present is where you stand firm to guide and radiate. The past, though once the foundation that shaped who you are, is now just a book whose pages have been turned. If you keep flipping back to reread old chapters, you'll miss the chance to write a new story for yourself. Picture yourself as a ship sailing across a vast ocean. If you keep anchoring at old harbors, places that once felt like home but no longer serve you, your ship will never set sail to explore new horizons. Many chosen ones fall into this trap without realizing it. Perhaps you've faced deep heartache, a betrayal that cut you to the core, a dream that shattered, or a mistake that still haunts you with self-blame. These memories can feel like you're carrying a heavy backpack stuffed with stones of regret and pain. But here's the reality. The past doesn't define who you are today unless you let it. When you allow your mind to linger on what-ifs or if-onlys, you're unknowingly locking yourself out of the doorway to your true potential. Dwelling in the past doesn't just cause you to miss the present. It also resurrects negative emotions that no longer belong in your current journey. For instance, if someone's harsh words once wounded you, replaying that moment is like hitting the repeat button on a melancholic song, drowning you in unnecessary resentment. Those emotions, whether sadness, anger, or helplessness, are waves that have already passed. They once had a purpose, teaching you something valuable. But now if you cling to them, they turn into burdens that drag you down, keeping you from standing tall and moving forward. Your spiritual path requires lightness and flexibility, not the weary steps of someone tethered to what's already gone. Breaking free from the past isn't about erasing it from your memory. It's about learning to set it down like luggage you no longer need. Think of it as tidying up a room. Old items once held value, but now they just take up space you need for something fresh. Accept that every experience, joyful or painful, has made you stronger and wiser. For example, if you once lost a job, instead of endlessly mourning the missed opportunity, recognize that it steered you toward a path more aligned with your purpose. You can't turn back time to change what happened. That's a fact no one can escape. But you can absolutely decide how you face it today. One way to do this is by practicing compassion. Compassion for others, and more importantly, for yourself. Forgiving yourself for past stumbles isn't weakness. It's the courage to acknowledge you're human, and every misstep has been a brick paving your road to growth. Your real strength, the strength of the chosen ones, lies in the present moment. It's where divine guidance is always there to support you, where your intuition becomes your compass, and where every choice you make can shift the course of your life. The past is a reference book, but the present is the pen in your hand to write your future. To move away from the past, take time to confront what's still holding you back. Sit down with a cup of tea, grab a piece of paper, and list the memories that weigh on your mind. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? What have I learned from it? Then, actively release them, perhaps by tearing that paper into tiny pieces and letting them scatter in the wind, or meditating and picturing yourself walking through a new gateway, leaving everything behind. Next, anchor yourself in the present with simple actions. Feel the sunlight on your skin, listen to the birds chirping outside, or notice each breath as you walk. These small moments will pull you back to reality and help you live more fully. You, the chosen ones, are born to lead, inspire, and uplift others. But to fulfill that role, you can't let yourself be trapped in the shadows of what was. Remember that the flame you've sparked by embracing your power needs to be fueled in the present, not snuffed out by the ashes of the past. Let the present become your new harbor, where your ship raises its sails, where sacred energy flows through you, and where your true purpose shines. Don't look back. Move forward, for the path ahead is waiting for you to explore. Before we wrap up, let's take a step back and see the bigger picture of these 7 missteps you, the chosen ones, must avoid. Each one, ignoring your gut, letting negativity drain you, chasing empty riches, falling to ego, speaking without care, fearing your own strength and living in yesterday, is a real threat that can knock you off your path. They're not just ideas, they're practical risks that can dull your clarity, sap your energy, and pull you from the mission you're built for. But here's the flip side. Knowing them gives you power. Trusting your instincts keeps you on track. Guarding your space lifts you up. Valuing your purpose over stuff sets you free. Staying humble connects you to others. Choosing your words wisely shapes your world. Owning your strength changes lives, and staying present unlocks your potential. These aren't abstract lessons. They're tools you can use every day to stay sharp and move forward. You've been chosen for something big, and dodging these traps is how you claim it. Now, let's bring it all together and set you on your way. Thank you, dear chosen ones, for joining me through this message and facing these 7 critical missteps: ignoring your instincts, tolerating negativity, chasing shallow gains, letting ego lead, misusing words, doubting your strength, and clinging to the past. Your readiness to take this seriously means you're already stepping up, and I'm truly grateful for your commitment. May you walk forward with sharp focus and fearless resolve, armed with the insight to sidestep these traps, the toughness to overcome every hurdle, and the boldness to shine as only you can. You're not here for a small life, so I wish you the drive to claim the big impact you're destined for. Here's the core of it. You're a chosen one, marked for a purpose that matters. Those 7 pitfalls can throw you off if you're not careful, but now you're equipped. Your gut guides you, your energy protects you, your value isn't in possessions, humility fuels you, your words build your reality, your power is real, and the present is yours to own. This road isn't easy, but you've got the tools and the backup to keep moving. So take this and run with it. Stay alert, hold your ground, and charge toward what's next. The world needs what you've got, so don't hold back. Drop a comment below with your thoughts or questions, and hit that subscribe button to stay with us. Your journey's just kicking off, so let's make it count together.